All right, hello. This is Ron with Sandcar Services, and finally getting around to doing the Ebox to 2D conversion on this Mendeola. So for a customer of mine, uh, he's actually stepping up, and instead of just fixing his Ebox, where he had a failure, not being able to go into first or second gear, and it turns out his first or second slider cracked and came apart and basically locked up the slider and it wouldn't slide into gear. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of a heads up. This is the only time I'm going to put these parts side by side. So this is a good time for you to see what's going on. But the main shaft on a 2D, which is the one on the left, and the main shaft on an E-Box, which is the one on the right, are different in the fact that first gear is wider and second gear is definitely wider. But what's more important is that the input going into this shaft on the 2D is nearly a 1-inch diameter input. The input on the 2D is only 3/4 of an inch. So you have 1/4 of an inch less steel spinning the shaft. So that's a weaker point on the E-Box. Same thing with the input shaft that goes into your clutch. The one on the left, this is the Volkswagen shaft style for the E-Box. It's 3/4 of an inch right here where it goes onto the main shaft. But on the newer shaft he's going to get, which is a G50, it's 1 inch. It's a 1-inch connector. So this goes right there with a coupling. So you can see how much larger it is. Way stronger. Not to mention, this shaft, the G50, is a 300M metal. So it's the same type of shaft that your axles are made out of if you're running 300M shafts. So the first thing I need to do is I need to gut everything out of this housing because a lot of this stuff is reusable. All of the shift arms are reusable. I'm going to be replacing the forward bearing, and I'm going to be replacing this bearing, and then I'm going to be fixing or updating reverse because it's going to need to be extended. So there's an extension, which is on all 2Ds. And then the new gear carrier housing, which is thicker. If you look at the flange, see how thick it is right there? You can see that the flange here is way thinner because there's less meat on the gears, so the gear carrier housing is actually closer to the tranny. The 514 ring and pinion that he has is getting changed out, and he's going to be upgrading to the new Weddell Racing 514 C, and these units are machine ground after they're heat treated. So they're actually way better than the units that we used to get. They're a little bit more money, but they're better units from what I gather. We're going to be updating his hockey stick to one that's got reinforcements. And then the main shaft bearing is going to get swapped out because it's a two-piece, because it's a 3/4 inch shaft. And we'll be putting the bigger 1-inch shaft bearing in that housing. There is some differences. He's lucky in his because he's already got the fine spline reverse for his reverse shaft. So he doesn't have to replace his reverse. Some of the earlier E-Boxes run an older Volkswagen style coarse spline. I forget what it is, if it's 6 or 7 splines, but it doesn't matter if you leave those in. But if you want it to be a true 2D, just for conversation, you kind of have to replace that. But really, you don't have to. So real quick, the gears are way thicker. This is a 2D. This is an E-Box. This is his first gear that he came in with. And there is just absolutely no comparison. Second gear is really the one you see the most improvement on. Right? I wish I had two hands to do this, and I don't. But you can see there is a massive difference in the thickness of these gears. So I will keep you all updated, and let's see if we can turn this Ebox into a 2D. Thanks for watching.